We are here with our colleague Viktor from Kenya. He's a youth climate activist. So I was wondering if you could maybe just quickly introduce yourself, a little bit what you do, and also if you could explain a little bit what the situation is in Kenya in terms of the consequences of climate change, food systems, agriculture, etc.
Thank you, Enrique. My name is Victor. I'm from Kenya, but now I'm based in Italy. I'm doing my PhD in crop modeling, and it's mainly like just trying to see how can we make crop models more robust to make the predictions even much more better for the future. And to come back to your question, generally when we say about having a plant-based diet, in Kenya it does not really make sense. This is because most of the population eat plant-based diets. Maybe once in 2 weeks when we might eat meat, but mostly we are plant-based. It's like based on greens, based on starch, maybe corn, ugali, if some of you knows what is ugali. We drink porridge.
So what I wanted to share with you is that we get delivered at a workshop, and there was a lady from Kenya that was raising the issue that the narrative that plant-based diets or maybe veganism is a white saviorism kind of thing, and that is something that the global north is sort of wanting to impose. So I was wondering, I wanted to touch on the issue that you said that most people in Kenya are already very much plant-based.
Yes.
So could you talk a bit about how you feel about this narrative?
Yeah, to be honest, it's just like, I believe it's the way of our life, for example, because in our mind we are using the products like milk or eggs, but not killing the animal itself. Most of the families have it as a money, like it's a bank. So if your child lost their school fees, then you sell it, and only after selling you can get the money. But I'm not trying to undermine because I also stand for like plant-based diet. It's good for the environment, but also it is good for your health. It's much more easier to rear the plant. Another thing that I tend to see is that, for example, in a small village, people who eat meat are seen as rich. I remember that I have a neighbor and they are eating meat. We consider them as rich. But if you're not eating meat and you're eating plant-based diet, like we are eating a lot of veggies and this, you're considered to be poor.
Right.
It's a class thing. Normal Kenyans, like the poor ones, they eat plant-based diet.
I think you touched upon a very important issue because when we talk about meat consumption, it is true that we're seeing how when wealth starts raising, we also see meat consumption, animal products consumption going up. So this is one of the things that we try to do at Plant-Based Treaty, to try to prevent of this higher meat consumption. And so would you have any advice in terms of debunking that narrative and sort of helping to not sort of follow that trend, or maybe the other way that we could avoid that?
That's very important, because now that I see that in Europe there is a more movements which are for veganism. Big corporations which would like to establish big animal facilities for meat, especially like recently the government of Hungary actually started a sausage producing facility in Kenya.
Wow, okay.
Yeah. So in my opinion, we should tell the people that when this kind of facilities, there are a lot of disadvantages which come with it.
Right.
Yes, there will be jobs, but this facility can also be automatized. So not really that it will employ thousands of people.
Right.
Also, who owns these facilities? Right. Where will the money be flowing to?
Yeah.
Because if the locals don't own the facilities, they will need to deal with the waste. They will need to deal with such water pollution and such things. But who uses the money that is earned from these kind of facilities? So I think it will be very good if in our own way we can do some capacity building, telling them that, okay, look, they will come with this kind of narratives that we are creating jobs, it's going to improve your life.
Right.
But if you can actually look what these organizations have done from the global north, it's something which has been documented in pictures, in numbers. You can see that it's actually not true what they are trying to portray, and it's just that maybe they don't know.
So could we say that then when we talk about specifically now, maybe about other issues as well, but talking specifically about food systems, it is important to also talk about not just historical responsibility, but also process of decolonization, and try to highlight this narrative, amplify those voices to make sure that companies like Cargill and Tyson don't get there. Do you think that this plays a role as well, or?
Absolutely. A normal Kenyan does not know who is behind big corporation. So we need to do more enhancement of what we are telling them. Also to enter not just in form of education like in school, but also in the community meetings. They should know what can be termed as development is not necessarily mean development. It can be utilization. But this empowerment will only come if, number one, we have people on the ground who have been trained to debunk the big terms, to tell them the people how it actually is, instead of just saying that killing animals for food is bad. But we can tell them to understand why actually we are against such trends, such transitions in our lifestyles.
Okay, so I think this is one of the things that we started to work on, and we also started to having some discussions about, Viktor, to maybe incorporate plant-based studio, being plant-based studio Kenya through you. So I was wondering if you could give us 5 cents on what we have discussed and what your intention would be with plant-based studio in Kenya.
Absolutely. So I think the mandate will be to go to the local people, especially through the church, because already the church teaches a lot about health issues. How to protect yourself from diseases is by having a good diet, using that capacity, because already there's some understanding that meat is not the best, and animal-based products are not really what they try to say, and plant-based are already the best for your health. We can use that to really push the agenda that can transition the bigger community as a whole into like a plant-based mentality.
Thank you so much for this explanation. We really appreciate you taking the time to sit here with us, and we're very much looking forward to work with you on the ground and see how we can collaborate and support you in your efforts to hopefully spread this important information, this important narrative, and hopefully work together to combat the expansion of massive animal agriculture and fight for a more sustainable future together.
Thank you, Enrique, for having me, and I recommend your work. Keep pushing for it. We know we are all fighting for the climate. Let's hope that we win.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Appreciate it.